So let's start with risk taking. The question is not, are you a risk taker? The question is, how are you a risk taker?
For example, with visioning, okay? A visioning person who prefers that style of thinking will take risks if there is an ideal long-term place in the future.
If they can clearly see that in their mind or on paper as part of the plan, when they can see that ideal long-term future, they will take a risk and go for that future.
Right. Now, the experimenting, the opposite, they'll take a risk if they can see a way to map out a process of testing things and to verify in stages that something can be practical.
Those who prefer the exploring style, they'll take a risk when they know there's something new to be discovered. When there's new territory to go into, they will take a risk.
And modifying will take a risk if they can see that there's a way to make something new and improved and to build upon in a success of something in the short or near middle term.
So when you are leading an initiative which has risks, if you bring in all four styles perspectives, you're going to have the best recipe for actually taking that risk, for engaging in the task that you need to engage in for that initiative.
In a way, it's almost like having four different criteria for risk-taking all considered at once, and to really be able to therefore be more successful in the task of being conscious of the risk-taking that you're doing. But it will also take care of the relationship, because as you're considering all four approaches to risk-taking, and people have different approaches, they will feel included and they'll be with you, which is actually another part of your formula for success.
And you and I have actually experienced it. We've taken many risks in our businesses over the years. And when you consider all four perspectives and you engage people from all four perspectives, there's a natural flow. It's very organic, actually. When there's a need for a short term, the short term rises up. When there's need to stay focused on that long term, when there's a need to discover something, when there's a need to verify in stages, it's like they work together. There's a synergy together with the four perspectives as you're taking this risk.
I find the same thing is true when we talk about leading change or managing change, that the modifying will lead change that has a way of altering the system, altering the way things are done, and to build upon what's been there, improve it.
Improve it. If they know they can improve something, they will make that change.
You know, the exploring will lead change that can radically transform the system, unfreeze it, and just to see how it unfolds. That's the way they would approach change. Visioning would approach change by seeing a significant alteration, if you will, a dramatic alteration in the longer term, and they'll lead change towards that kind of a future. And then you'll have the experimenting, which will initiate change that has a way of basically building upon in stages, you know, building that change up, so to speak.
Where they can create a process to try different things out, combine things especially, bring things together.
Pilot test them,
learn from the experience. So with change, again, the question is not, are you a change agent? The question is, how are you a change agent? When you are leading change, if you can bring all four perspectives alive and well in that process, you will have, again, a task that has all of the ingredients that it needs to be successful. You'll also create the relationship synergy that will engage everyone and bring out the best of what they have to offer to the change process.
And they'll be with you rather than resisting because they feel left out.
Right. We don't mean to make this a utopia that, now change is never going to have resistance. And yet we know from our own experience in our own organization, as well as working with others with these perspectives, we know that it does It lessens the resistance. You're more proactive to see where resistance might happen and where you need to bring a different perspective of the change to bear.
And actually, as you listen to that resistance, you'll find a wisdom in that resistance that you may not have considered, and that wisdom may actually relate to the 4 styles.
Yes.
You know, there's a wisdom of, oh, something's not being tested out. Oh, we're adrift. We don't really have that long-term endpoint in mind. We're adrift because we've only looking for the big high fruit, so to speak, and not the low fruit, and so on.
Maybe we need to simplify something right now in the process before we go on to something bigger.
So resistance actually has a wisdom often buried in it that needs to be kind of brought out.
And that's what occurs in a natural way when you include all 4 perspectives and make sure that all 4 are respected and brought out in the process.